Hello one and all, and welcome back to the channel for another movie review. This time I am here to give you guys my coverage of the New York Film Festival, and I'm very excited to kick off that coverage by talking about the newest film from Noah Baumbach, White Noise. Now this stars Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, and Don Cheadle. This is actually the very first time that Noah Baumbach adapted something. Usually he writes his own stuff, but this is the very first time that he's adapting something, which is really exciting and also maybe a little intimidating, because when you're adapting a book or a TV show or a theatrical production, it could be very intimidating. But when you have a filmmaker like Noah Baumbach, I can't help but get excited. As someone who has not read this supposed unadaptable book, I had no idea what to expect walking in. But from my friends who have read the source material, they said that this was an absolutely wild roller coaster, and they were very curious to see how Baumbach, someone who doesn't really do a lot of bonkers-filled projects, was going to bring this story to life. We're on a journey that is pretty bonkers, pretty wild, very innovative, and truly bonkers. Did I say that word already? I did. This movie is bonkers. It is easily Noah Baumbach's most ambitious film to date. He has never gone this far with his films, and I have to commend him for doing something completely out of his wheelhouse. In my humble opinion, something that I really appreciate about a lot of filmmakers is that every once in a while they decide, oh, I'm going to tackle a genre that I've never tackled before. He decided to present this really innovative story that, I will be honest, didn't entirely work for me. Now, this film is a dysfunctional family comedy. It is then at times a disaster movie. It is a satirical film regarding American society, but it can also be a horror movie at times. It's very all over the place, and it is incredibly jarring, which is why I wasn't as wowed by this movie as I wanted to be, because I don't think this movie knew exactly what it wanted to be. And I don't know if that's entirely on Noah Baumbach or if that's just how the source material was presented. As a massive fan of Noah Baumbach's work, I was left disappointed because I love Marriage Story. I love Frances Ha. I love the Meyerowitz stories. I love While We're Young. I love The Squid and the Whale. I pretty much like or love everything that Noah Baumbach has made so far, and this is his 11th film. I feel like a second watch is going to help me out, but judging from this first viewing, it was a lot to process, and I saw this movie 2 days ago, and I'm still unsure how I feel about it. But let me tell you guys what I really loved about it. As I kind of hinted at before, I talked about how amazing it was to see Noah Baumbach tackle something completely out of his wheelhouse. But what I will say was impressive was the performances. Adam Driver is incredible in this. He's always great. Whenever he works with Noah Baumbach, it is literal magic. They've collaborated now 5 times together, and his performance here was really fascinating because the character of Jack, once this event happens, he starts to question his mortality, and I thought that was a really interesting aspect of this movie. And then you have Greta Gerwig as Babette, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with her as well. And this is the first time that Greta Gerwig has acted behind the camera in, I think, 5 to 6 years, because she's been busy directing, and she's given us 2 incredible films so far, and I cannot wait for Barbie. I'm so excited to see how that pans out. I have full faith that that movie's going to kick ass. The acting, great. The directing, pretty good. Cinematography looks gorgeous. I thought Danny Elfman's score was fantastic. It felt like I was watching a movie set in the 80s. I love the aesthetic of this film, especially the sequences that take place at night, in the third act in particular. I mean, some of the most gorgeous shots in a Noah Baumbach film are in this film. It's probably his best looking film to date too, probably because the budget is excruciatingly high compared to everything else that he's put out so far. But my biggest problem, as I said, was the juxtaposition of all these genres, and it really does not mesh well in my opinion. Now, is the movie funny? At times, yes. Is the movie terrifying? At times, yes. Is the film unpredictable? 100%. I had no idea where it was going. But that does not mean I was super wowed by it, because I think that combining all these tones left me feeling so conflicted because it just didn't know what it wanted to be. And again, this might be a case of how the book is presented, but as a film, And as someone who didn't read the book, as someone who's just judging the film, I wasn't as impressed by this as I wanted to be. Now, that being said, it is a technically well made film with great performances and pretty ambitious direction, but the screenplay just wasn't able to fully balance its tones as well as it could have been. Now, there are some films that I have seen that have balanced multiple genres, and the product turned out to be great. And this is not a terrible film by any means. I've seen far worse movies this year. But in terms of the films that I was really excited to see this year, this hands down is one of the disappointing ones for me. I thought it was an interestingly put together film, but I don't think it lived up to its potential as much as it could have, simply because of how talented the actors and the filmmaker behind the project are. I also have to say, the end credits scene is not going to leave my mind for a very long time. It is one of the best end credit scenes of the year, even though I'm unsure of its purpose in the film, but I'm not going to question it because the entire movie was a wild roller coaster that just didn't slow down one bit. I did enjoy it, but I wasn't as wowed by it as I want to be. I'm very excited to see it for a second time, so I'm going to give White Noise 3 out of 5 stars. It is one of my least favorite films directed by Noah Baumbach, but that does not mean that it's a bad film. I'm curious to see how the general public is going to react to this film when it comes to Netflix at the end of the year. I thought it was an awesome experience to watch this in a crowd full of cinephiles and film geeks. I loved getting the opportunity to see Noah Baumbach, Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, Don Cheadle, Danny Elfman, and the rest of the cast in person. It was a great experience that I'm never going to forget. And I think it's so cool that Noah Baumbach finally got the opportunity to open up the New York Film Festival, considering he's a New Yorker born and raised. He has made many of his films in New York, and he's premiered many of his films at the festival. And now to be able to have the North American premiere at this film festival is a really incredible thing. So guys, if you have seen White Noise, tell me down below what you thought of the movie. If you read the book, tell me down below what you thought of that. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please stay tuned for more coverage of the New York Film Festival. I'm seeing a lot of films, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about them. Hit subscribe. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms to stay up to date. Thank you guys so much, seriously, from the bottom of my heart for watching this review, and I'll see you guys soon.